The auction hall smelled of oil, metal, and disappointment. Zane Riker, a human engineer with a stubborn streak and a battered flight jacket, leaned against the cold metal wall, his hands buried in his pockets. Around him, towering alien merchants and smug aristocrats whispered to one another, pointing at the gleaming ships displayed under bright lights. Every vessel seemed alive with promise, except one. Lot 99 flashed on the holographic display. Zane's breath caught. The ship was a disaster. Rust covered its hull, wires dangled like vines, and one of the engine pods was missing entirely. The viewing screen showed the interior, torn panels, shattered consoles, and seats ripped apart. A name was barely visible, the rusted beacon. A laugh erupted from a group of VIN nobles at the front. Who would touch this scrap? One of them sneered. It couldn't fly if you threw a graviton storm at it. Zane felt his pulse quicken. Something about the ship called to him, like a whisper from the past. He had spent years studying old human spacecraft, learning their quirks, their hidden strengths, and their secrets. The rusted beacon was ancient, pre-first contact technology, built in a time when humans relied on wit and raw engineering instead of alien tech. Most thought it junk. Zane saw potential. The auctioneer, a tall Kryn with metallic green skin, droned over the microphone. Starting bid, 5 credits. The room fell silent. Zane raised his hand. 5 credits. Every eye in the hall turned. A human? Buying a wreck. Some murmured, some chuckled. One Talsha merchant muttered, humans, always chasing ghosts. The hammer came down. Lot 99 goes to the human for 5 credits. The hall erupted into laughter. Zane ignored it. 5 credits was all he had, and maybe, just maybe, it was enough. Zane approached the ship's docking bay. It looked worse up close. The hull was streaked with rust, dents, and scorch marks. The docking ramp hung at a dangerous angle, and a faint smell of old coolant hung in the air. He stepped carefully inside. The emergency lights flickered weakly, casting ghostly shadows across the narrow corridor. "Hello," Zane whispered, his voice echoing. "I'm your new pilot. Let's see what we can do together." The bridge was a disaster. Consoles were shattered, wiring exposed, and the captain's chair was torn. Yet, as Zane sat in it, he felt something strange, a sense of belonging. His hands brushed over dusty controls, switches, and analog panels. Modern ships were simple: touchscreens, holographic interfaces, AI autopilots. This was different. It demanded skill. It demanded understanding. And Zane loved challenges. "Scanner online," he muttered, booting up the ship's rudimentary AI. The holographic figure that appeared flickered awkwardly. "Zane Riker," it said. "Systems are 76% offline. Life support unstable. Engines at 32% functional." Zane grinned. Not bad for a ship everyone called useless. 3 days passed in a blur. Zane crawled through maintenance tunnels, patched leaking conduits, rewired circuits, and scavenged spare parts from the station's abandoned hangars. His hands were black with grease, his back ached, and sleep was a distant memory. Yet, he pressed on. Every repair brought the rusted beacon to life piece by piece. Late one night, deep in the engine room, he discovered a hidden compartment. Inside were 3 old data cores, relics of human technology. He inserted one into the reader. A hologram flickered to life, a human engineer from centuries past, explaining the ship's true potential. The rusted beacon was designed to be adaptive, the hologram said. Its engines can harmonize with cosmic energy, gravitational waves, even ambient radiation. Fully operational, it can achieve speeds no modern ship can reach. Zane's eyes widened. He had suspected there was more to this ship than met the eye. Now he knew. But potential came with risk. The engine system was ancient, unstable, and unpredictable. Modern AI could not manage it alone. Zane would have to pilot it manually, learning to feel the ship's rhythms, respond to its quirks, and trust his instincts. Every wrong move could tear the ship apart, or worse. Yet the more he worked, the more the rusted beacon seemed alive. Pipes hummed softly, energy conduits pulsed faintly, and the ship's core thrummed like a heartbeat. Zane could almost hear it whispering to him, "We can do this, together." His opportunity came faster than expected. An emergency alert flashed across the station network. A colony transport, the Silver Horizon, was stranded 10 light-years away. Life support was failing. Hundreds of colonists faced certain death. No conventional ship could reach them in time. Zane's fingers danced across the controls. "We can make it," he muttered. "We have to." The station command protested, warnings pouring in. "Human pilot," a Kryn officer barked, "this is suicide. That ship cannot perform this jump. You will fail, and you will die." Zane ignored them. He knew the rusted beacon was more than its rusted hull. It was human ingenuity made flesh. He set coordinates, engaged the engines, and felt the ship respond, hesitant at first, then strong. The energy thrummed through the corridors, resonating with the pulse of the ship and, somehow, with him. As he prepared to jump into faster-than-light travel, a final thought ran through his mind. Everyone laughed at this ship. They said it was trash. But I see its worth. And today, we're going to prove them all wrong. The engines sang, the lights blazed, and the rusted beacon leapt into the void, human courage leading the way into the unknown. Space stretched before the rusted beacon like an endless black ocean. Stars flickered in distant patterns, silent witnesses to Zane's audacious plan. He gripped the controls, feeling the ship's pulse beneath his fingers. The ancient engines vibrated with energy, responding to his every instinct. For the first time, he understood the ship wasn't just metal and circuits, it was alive. Engaging FTL jump in T-10 seconds, the ship's AI intoned, its voice calm but tinged with concern. Zane's jaw tightened. "Do it." The ship lurched violently as the resonance engines activated. Space itself seemed to warp, light bending unnaturally as the rusted beacon tore a path through the void. Alarms screamed across the bridge, warning of system overloads, but Zane ignored them. He wasn't fighting the ship, he was guiding it, coaxing it forward with intuition honed from years of tinkering with human machines. Then the first obstacle appeared. A drifting debris field, the remnants of an exploded asteroid, stretched across their path. Sensors flashed warnings. Collision imminent. Zane's heart pounded. Modern ships would have autopilot systems capable of navigating such hazards, but the rusted beacon didn't have those. Its sensors were crude, its AI limited. Only one option remained: trust the ship and his instincts. He leaned into the controls, nudging energy flows manually, adjusting thrust in precise increments. The ship responded as if reading his mind, weaving between the jagged asteroids. Sparks flew from the hull as tiny fragments grazed the surface. Zane swallowed hard. They made it. "Nice flying," the AI said, a hint of admiration in its tone. Zane allowed himself a brief smile. Not flying, dancing. Hours passed. The rusted beacon moved faster than Zane had ever imagined possible, harmonizing with cosmic radiation and gravitational currents. But speed brought new problems. The engines, delicate and ancient, began overheating. Cooling conduits cracked under stress, and life support panels flickered dangerously. Every corridor hummed with tension. Zane sprinted through the narrow tunnels, adjusting valves, patching leaks, and rerouting power lines with the efficiency of someone who knew the ship like an extension of his body. Sweat poured down his face, and every muscle ached, but he refused to stop. Failure wasn't an option, not when 347 colonists depended on him. Then the comms crackled. "Riker, this is the Silver Horizon," a frazzled voice called. We can't maintain life support. Systems failing. Please, hurry." Zane's stomach tightened. "I'm coming," he whispered. He felt the resonance engines hum beneath his feet, vibrating like a living heartbeat. If he could synchronize perfectly, the engines could transfer energy directly to the transport's failing systems. But it was risky. The slightest miscalculation could fry their AI, or worse, destroy both ships. "Newton," Zane muttered to the ship's AI. "Can we do it?" "Technically possible," Newton replied cautiously. "Probability of success: 41%. Probability of catastrophic failure: 59%. Zane grinned. Not bad odds for saving 347 lives. As they approached the transport, a strange interference field erupted around the Silver Horizon. The ship's AI had been corrupted by cosmic radiation, sending chaotic commands through its systems. Lights flickered violently, and life support readings plummeted. The rusted beacon trembled as its resonance engines responded instinctively. Zane clenched his teeth. He had only one chance. Placing his hands on the primary console, he synchronized his own neural input with the ship's resonance core. His mind became a conductor, channeling the ship's energy through him and into the failing AI of the transport. Chaos erupted in his senses. Alarms screamed, lights flashed, and data streams surged across his vision like rivers of light. For a moment, Zane felt his consciousness stretch thin, merging with the rhythm of the ship, the energy of space, and the panic signals of the Silver Horizon. Pain lanced through his skull. Sweat stung his eyes. Every fiber of his body screamed to stop. But he didn't. He couldn't. Slowly, deliberately, he guided the resonance energy into the transport systems. Broken circuits mended themselves as if by magic. Power flowed to the life support arrays. Oxygen levels stabilized. The RE's erratic commands smoothed into coherent patterns. One by one, the lights on the Silver Horizon returned to life. Zane gasped, staggering back from the console. Come on, hold together. Seconds stretched like hours. Then the alarms fell silent. The Silver Horizon hummed steadily, its life support fully operational. The colonists were safe, for now. Relief surged through him, but there was no time to celebrate. The transport was drifting toward a gravity well generated by a nearby neutron star. Its navigation systems were still partially damaged. Without intervention, it would be pulled into the star in minutes. Zane clenched his fists. He looked at the rusted beacon's engines, feeling their pulse. The adaptive resonance drive could manipulate gravitational fields, bend trajectories, and even compensate for extreme forces, but it had never been pushed this far. Okay, he muttered. Let's dance again. Manual adjustments, neural synchronization, and intuition guided the ship. Zane felt the resonance engines sing in harmony with the neutron star's gravity. Time stretched, seconds expanding into eternity as he calculated the impossible, a trajectory that would slingshot the Silver Horizon to safety. The transport's AI mirrored his efforts, responding tentatively to the energy pulses he sent. Every moment was a risk. One miscalculation, one misfired signal, and they would both be destroyed. And then, it worked. The Silver Horizon shot past the gravity well, its system stabilizing completely. Zane collapsed into the captain's chair, exhausted beyond belief. The engines hummed softly beneath him, as if acknowledging a job well done. Newton, Zane said hoarsely, status report. All systems optimal. Silver Horizon secure. No casualties reported, the AI replied. Zane leaned back, closing his eyes for a brief moment. The weight of what they had just accomplished pressed on him. 347 lives saved by sheer human ingenuity, courage, and stubbornness. And yet, as he looked at the stars through the cracked bridge windows, he knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of abandoned ships, lost colonies, and challenges no one else would attempt. The rusted beacon wasn't just a ship, it was proof that humans could achieve the impossible, and that their resilience and creativity could outshine even the most advanced alien civilizations. Zane smirked. Let's see what else is out there, he whispered. The rusted beacon hummed in agreement, ready to carry him forward into unknown space, toward new adventures, and new opportunities to prove that humans were capable of greatness, even when everyone doubted them. The rusted beacon floated silently in the black expanse, its hull glowing faintly from the adaptive resonance drive. Zane wiped sweat from his brow and leaned against the console, exhausted but alive. The Silver Horizon was safe, drifting steadily on a corrected course. For a moment, it seemed the universe had offered a brief reprieve. Then the sensors flickered. Captain, Newton said cautiously, an unidentified vessel is approaching. Signature indicates non-human origin. Shields are down. No weapon systems detected yet, but... Zane's pulse quickened. But what? Newton's calm voice held the tiniest note of unease. But the trajectory is interceptive, and speed suggests intent to pursue. Likely hostile. Zane's fingers tightened on the console. Show me. A massive silhouette appeared on the view screen. It was sleek and black, with angular wings and glowing crimson energy lines running across its hull. The design was alien, entirely unlike anything Zane had encountered. He studied the readings. Fast, efficient, and deadly. This was no mere scouting vessel, it was a hunter. They're coming for us, Zane muttered. Probability of evasion without engagement, 32%, Newton warned. Zane stood straighter, determination hardening his features. Then we fight smart, not hard. The alien ship closed distance quickly. Zane analyzed every option. Weapons on the rusted beacon were minimal, jury-rigged from scavenged tech, and the alien craft far outclassed them. Conventional combat meant certain death. Newton, scan for environmental factors, he said. Anything we can use to our advantage. The RE sensors expanded across the void. Captain, asteroid cluster 12.7 light-seconds ahead. Magnetic fields strong enough to interfere with their systems. Radiation spikes intermittent but predictable. Zane grinned. Perfect. Lead them there. Engaging the resonance drive, he whispered to the ship. Guide us, old friend. The rusted beacon shuddered as energy coursed through its core. Zane could feel the ship responding, its vibrations singing in harmony with the cosmic currents. They weren't just flying, they were bending space subtly, slipping between energy pockets, creating interference patterns that would confuse the alien sensors. As they neared the asteroid cluster, the hunter vessel adjusted its course. Its crimson energy glowed brighter as it prepared to fire. Zane held his breath, counting seconds. Then chaos erupted. The resonance drive pulsed, and the rusted beacon seemed to vanish momentarily. The alien sensors went haywire, unable to track them through the shifting energy fields. Asteroids collided with the hunter's hull, forcing evasive maneuvers. Zane laughed, exhilarated and terrified. Not bad, beacon. Not bad at all, he muttered. But the alien wasn't finished. It adapted quickly, recalibrating its sensors and weapons. Red energy bolts streaked toward the rusted beacon. Zane swerved, barely dodging, his hands a blur on the controls. Newton, can we create a feedback loop? He demanded. Theoretically possible, Captain, but it would require direct resonance coupling with their systems. Likely fatal if miscalculated. Zane's eyes narrowed. Then we calculate perfectly. Minutes stretched into eternity. Zane guided the ship through the asteroid field, using the resonance drive to manipulate energy pulses. The rusted beacon emitted vibrations that interfaced with the hunter's systems. Red lines of energy arced across space as alien weapons misfired. Explosions erupted in the asteroid field, debris smashing against the pursuer. Zane's heart pounded, sweat streaming down his face. Every maneuver required intuition, nerve, and complete trust in the ship's adaptive drive. Then the impossible happened. The alien vessel's systems overloaded. Its glowing red hull flickered and warped. Its engines flared uncontrollably. For a split second, the hunter was vulnerable. Zane seized the opportunity. Engaging every ounce of the resonance drive's power, he sent a controlled pulse that synchronized with the alien vessel's energy patterns. There was a shudder, a hum that filled the rusted beacon from bow to stern, and the alien ship froze, systems locked in temporary shutdown. Zane exhaled sharply. They weren't destroyed, but they were delayed. Enough to give the rusted beacon a chance to escape. Zane didn't stop. He plotted a course to a nearby space station. It was a neutral hub, populated with multiple alien species, far beyond the hunter's reach without drawing attention. Docking protocol ready, Newton said. Shields may not hold if they follow. Zane shook his head. They won't. That pulse, it bought us time. We'll be ghosts by the time they recalibrate. The rusted beacon slipped into the station's atmosphere. Docking clamps engaged, and the engines hummed down. For a few moments, everything was quiet. Zane's body sagged in the captain's chair, muscles trembling from adrenaline and exhaustion. And then came the chatter. Voices in dozens of languages echoed through the station's comms. Aliens, humans, and others, curious, skeptical, and a little afraid, crowded the station channels. Zane caught fragments of conversation. Rusted ship, alive. Human pilot, incredible. Impossible technology. A station official materialized on the bridge, an alien with pale green skin and 6 eyes. "Captain Zane, I have to admit," he said, awe in his voice. "We did not believe a human could survive that engagement. And yet here you are. You've changed our understanding of what's possible." Zane nodded, exhausted but proud. "We didn't survive by brute force," he said quietly. "We survived by thinking, adapting, and refusing to accept that something was impossible. The rusted beacon isn't just a ship. It's proof that humans see potential where others see waste. That's how we survive." The alien officer blinked, clearly impressed. Perhaps we underestimated humans. Clearly, your species has ingenuity unlike any we've seen." Zane allowed himself a brief smile. "We're full of surprises." Even as the rusted beacon rested safely in dock, Zane knew this was only the beginning. Other systems, other colonies, other stranded ships, they all awaited. And somewhere, the alien hunter would recover. The chase was not over. The galaxy was full of dangers, but also full of possibilities. And the rusted beacon, piloted by humans, would meet every challenge head-on. Zane leaned back, eyes closing briefly. He could hear the hum of the engines, like a heartbeat, steady and alive. And somewhere deep inside, a spark of excitement flared. There were countless impossible missions ahead, and the galaxy had yet to see the best humans could do. "Ready for the next adventure?" Newton asked. Zane smirked. "Always." And with that, the rusted beacon hummed louder, eager to soar once more into the stars, carrying its human crew toward new horizons, challenges, and triumphs that would prove the galaxy had underestimated them, once again. The rusted beacon glided through the neutral sector, engines humming in quiet harmony with the void. Zane's mind was still buzzing from the encounter with the hunter ship. Every nerve screamed alert, but the thrill of survival fueled him. The galaxy was not kind, and humans were rarely invited to play in its upper echelons, but that never stopped them. A soft ping on the sensor panel drew Zane's attention. "Captain, we're picking up a blockade ahead. Multiple ships. Energy signatures are unfamiliar, but advanced. Very advanced." Zane's stomach tightened. "How many?" 17, Captain. They're aligned in a wedge formation, controlling all access to the sector. Any ship trying to pass will be detected immediately." Zane leaned back in the chair, eyes narrowing. "A blockade? And no one thought humans could get this far. Typical." Newton's voice, calm as ever, reminded him, probability of success in breaking through, 13%. Standard engagement would result in total destruction. Zane smirked. "Then we don't do standard." The beacon drifted closer, its silhouette small against the vast armada. Zane's mind raced. The enemy ships outclassed them in every measurable way: weapons, shields, and speed. Brute force was suicide. That left one option: ingenuity. Newton, analyze the formation. Where are the gaps? Where are their vulnerabilities? The AI scanned, projecting a holographic wedge in mid-air. Lines of energy showed patrol routes, firing arcs, and sensor sweeps. "Captain, there is a narrow vector between ships 9 and 10. Sensors are weaker there, but the energy gradient is unpredictable. Navigation error could result in destruction." "Then we adapt," Zane said. "Engage the resonance drive. Full spectrum harmonic pulse. Let's see if we can bend them just like the hunter ship." The rusted beacon quivered as the drive sang, resonating with cosmic radiation and energy pulses. Zane guided the ship through micro-adjustments, feeling every vibration, every shift, like the heartbeat of the universe. Around them, the blockade ships hummed and pulsed, responding to their own energy fields, unaware of the invisible threads the beacon was weaving. Seconds stretched. The first gap approached. Zane held his breath. With one sudden surge, the beacon slipped through the wedge. Energy arcs licked along their hull as alien sensors tried to track them, but the ship's adaptive resonance drive countered every lock-on attempt. Impressive, a voice spoke in Zane's earcom. It was melodic, alien, and commanding. Humans are more clever than we anticipated. Zane's heart jumped. Identify yourself. A hologram flickered to life in the cockpit, a being tall and elegant, skin shimmering silver with elongated limbs. Its eyes glowed with intelligence and curiosity rather than malice. I am Shirel of the Nyrath Dominion, it said, voice resonating inside Zane's skull rather than through speakers. Your species is audacious. You survive where others perish. Why? Zane straightened. Because we refuse to accept what's impossible. Because we see potential where others see failure. And because we protect what matters, no matter the cost. Shirel's eyes, multiple and luminous, studied him. And yet, you are untested against a coalition fleet. One mistake could cost you your life, and the lives of your crew. Why risk it? Zane smirked. Because the alternative is doing nothing, and that's not in our nature. The Nyrath commander nodded slowly. Interesting. We will allow you to pass, but under conditions. You will demonstrate your capabilities. A challenge. If you succeed, you may leave. If you fail, the consequences are final. Zane glanced at the crew, then at the rusted beacon. We accept, he said, tone firm. We'll show you what humans are capable of. The gauntlet began. The Nyrath Dominion had prepared a complex simulation using real starfields, energy mines, and decoy fleets. The rusted beacon sensors were overloaded almost immediately, detecting threats from every direction. Zane relied on intuition and the ship's resonance drive, allowing the energy to guide him. Every maneuver was precise, every vibration accounted for. Crew members called out adjustments, shields fluctuating, minor hull breaches, energy spikes. Zane coordinated the responses, improvising fixes mid-flight. The beacon moved like a living creature, gliding past traps, slipping between mines, dancing through enemy projections. Hours passed. Fatigue weighed on them, but the thrill of the challenge sharpened their senses. Zane felt the pulse of the universe in every creak, every hum, every vibration of the rusted beacon. Finally, the last test appeared, a massive Nyrath battleship, glowing with energy, capable of annihilating their vessel in seconds. Zane studied it. Conventional weapons would fail. Speed alone wouldn't matter. This required something more. Newton, prepare the resonance drive for a full-spectrum interface. We need to harmonize with that ship, not fight it. The RE sensors expanded, calculating the impossible. Captain, full integration could cause feedback, destroy the rusted beacon and your neural network. Probability of survival, 27%. Zane nodded. Then we do it anyway. Energy surged through the ship. Zane closed his eyes, feeling the massive battleship as an extension of space itself. Vibrations synchronized. Energy patterns aligned. Slowly, the Nyrath ship's weapons powered down, its hull resonating in harmony with the beacon. The impossible had been achieved. Zane had tamed the gauntlet. Shirel appeared once more. Remarkable. Humans, you are not only clever, you are fearless. The Nyrath Dominion will remember this day. Zane exhaled, exhausted but triumphant. We are just humans doing what humans do best, surviving, adapting, and never giving up. The blockade dispersed, letting the rusted beacon continue on its journey. Zane leaned back, listening to the ship's hum, knowing that every challenge had made them stronger. Ahead lay the galaxy, full of dangers, mysteries, and opportunities. And humans would meet them all head-on. The rusted beacon floated in the outer reaches of the Erythra Nebula, a silent sentinel against the swirling violet clouds of ionized gas. Zane's crew had barely slept in days, their bodies aching, minds stretched thin. Every challenge they had faced, the hunter ship, the blockade, the Nyrath gauntlet, had tested them beyond any human limit. Yet, here they were, alive, unbroken, and more determined than ever. Captain, Newton's calm voice interrupted the silence. We are receiving a distress signal. Coordinates indicate a hidden colony under siege. The attackers are unknown, but energy signatures match the Dominion fleet we just passed. Zane's jaw tightened. Are they targeting the colony specifically, or just another demonstration of power? Likely both, Newton replied. If we do not intervene, total annihilation is probable. Zane stared at the holographic display. The rusted beacon was outnumbered again, outgunned, but human history had never been about fighting with superior firepower. It had been about using the mind when the body was outmatched. Prepare the ship, Zane said, voice resolute. We're going in. But this time, we're not just surviving. We're winning. The Erythra Nebula was treacherous. Plasma storms and gravitational distortions twisted space, making navigation a nightmare. Yet Zane didn't rely on instruments alone. With the resonance drive attuned, he felt the currents of space like waves on an ocean, guiding them through hazards that conventional systems could never calculate. The first sight of the colony hit the crew with fear. Massive orbital platforms, glowing with life, were under fire. Alien ships swarmed around, lasers cutting through the atmosphere. Civilians were trapped in evacuation pods, fleeing for life. Panic radiated through the systems. Zane's hands flew over controls, coordinating shields, power reroutes, and evasive maneuvers. Newton, can the resonance drive interface with their defense AI? Zane asked. Theoretically, yes. But it's a high-risk operation. Neural feedback could incapacitate you. Zane's eyes hardened. We don't have a choice. With a surge of energy, the rusted beacon harmonized with the colony's AI. Instantly, defensive turrets activated, targeting enemy ships with precision that left even Zane breathless. Shields rebalanced dynamically, creating protective barriers around evacuation pods. The alien attackers, confident in their superior technology, were unprepared for a human vessel that could think, adapt, and coordinate multiple systems at once. Zane's mind raced through possibilities. The attackers had a command ship directing the assault. Destroy it, and the rest would scatter. But it was heavily shielded and moving in constant erratic patterns. Direct engagement was suicide. Newton, Zane muttered, what if we don't fight it head-on? Explain, the AI prompted. Zane's fingers danced across the console, drawing patterns of energy flows, interference zones, and gravitational anomalies. We lure it into the nebula. Let the environment do the work. The resonance drive can amplify gravitational distortions and redirect their attacks against themselves. Risk of total annihilation, 41%, Newton cautioned. Then we do it anyway, Zane said, leaning into the controls. The beacon slipped into the storm. Alien weapons fired, only to be twisted and redirected by gravitational eddies. Plasma arcs looped back, shields overloaded, and the command ship's coordination faltered. With every pulse, the rusted beacon seemed to grow, not just surviving the assault but shaping the battlefield to its advantage. Hours passed in a blur of light and energy. The crew worked as one organism, guided by Zane's intuition and the resonance drive's music. Slowly, systematically, the alien attackers were neutralized. The command ship, caught in a storm it could not control, drifted helplessly before Zane executed the final maneuver, a synchronized pulse that disabled its engines and shields. The remaining ships retreated into the nebula, leaving the colony intact. The evacuation pods floated safely, life preserved. Silence settled over the rusted beacon. Exhaustion and relief washed over the crew in equal measure. Zane's eyes scanned the nebula, taking in the aftermath. Humans, outnumbered and outgunned, had once again proven that ingenuity, courage, and stubborn determination were more powerful than superior technology. A message pinged on the comm holograms flickered across the bridge. Representatives from the Nirath Dominion, now in their full regalia, approached virtually. Shirel's image appeared, solemn and respectful. Captain Zane, the commander said, voice steady, you have demonstrated something remarkable. Humans do not merely survive adversity, they reshape it to their advantage. The rusted beacon, and by extension your species, will be remembered throughout the Dominion and beyond. We offer you alliance, trade, and knowledge. You have earned respect, not just for yourself, but for humanity. Zane exhaled, a rare smile spreading across his face. We don't ask for recognition. We just refuse to give up. That's what humans do. Shirell's eyes glimmered. Then consider this. We will ensure no future attack on this colony. Humanity has claimed its place among the stars. Perhaps, it is time the stars recognized it fully. As the hologram faded, Zane leaned back. Around him, his crew murmured, tired but elated. Newton's voice, quieter than usual, offered a rare comment. Captain, probability of success has never been higher. You have rewritten expectations of human potential. Zane smiled, looking at the rusted beacon. Rusted, battered, underestimated, and yet undefeated. We didn't rewrite it, Newton, he said softly. We just proved it. The rusted beacon turned from the nebula, engines humming in a triumphant melody. Ahead lay the infinite expanse of the galaxy, full of challenges, mysteries, and adventures. For humans, nothing was impossible, only unexplored. Zane's hand rested on the console. Let's find the next impossible thing, he said. And with that, the rusted beacon accelerated, disappearing into the cosmic night, carrying the spirit of humanity forward. The galaxy had seen human courage, ingenuity, and resilience, not just surviving, but thriving against impossible odds. Humanity had not just arrived among the stars, it had earned its legend.